Good morning, y'all.
And welcome back to the channel.
Hey, do you guys like these new uniforms we have? I don't know if you know this, we're going through a frame issue, and this is going to be a common theme on this channel for a while. What do you guys think about these awesome shirts? They're going to be available on our website because we found out fixing the frame on your RV is very, very expensive. We also have another option: make RVs great again. So if you guys want to help us make this RV great again, head over to pavingnewpass.com and get yourself some of these awesome shirts. In our last video, we showed you guys what was going on the inside and the outside of this RV and what led us to think that we have frame flex. We also did a frame flex measurement test and we sent it off to Grand Design. If you missed that video, we'll link it down below and you can go check it out and get caught up with the story. Now, before we tell you what Grand Design said about that video, let's talk about what it took to get to that point in our life. Step one, when we got home, we decided to contact Grand Design customer service, and that's where this story begins.
Yes, what we thought was going to be a simple phone call to see what the next steps were actually turned out to be a huge ordeal.
Phone call number one, I called Grand Design customer service and I thought it was going great. They asked for my VIN number and we were discussing my problems until I said the word frame flex. Apparently when you say the word frame flex, it shuts down all conversations with Grand Design.
You have to wonder why on phone call number one, a company immediately shuts down when you mention the word frame flex.
The word frame flex apparently makes them start giving you non-answers and deflective and defensive answers on a thing that they're not even sure they know what's going on with your rig.
We weren't even to the point where we knew it was frame flex at this point. It was just a conversation that we think we might be having frame flex, and immediately all conversations end.
So the first conversation went back and forth for a while, and I eventually got hung up because I kept saying the word frame flex. The customer service representative for a company hung up on me because I said the word frame flex. And she said, if you say it one more time, this conversation is over. Frame flex. Beep.
Not a good way to start when your customer, regardless if we bought it new from you or not, we're still your customer. When your customer brings up a major issue that they think they're having at this point, and you hang up the phone on them, like, what company operates in this way? I just can't.
I know what you're thinking. I probably called irritated. No, the first call I called and played like a person who has no idea what's going on with this RV. Even though I have all the research done, I played dumb in hopes that they would guide me in the way to fix this. And I immediately got shut down and treated like I was the worst person in the world because I said the word frame flex.
I think it's also important to note that when we first called in, we called in as Kevin and Alicia Watson. We did not call in as Paving New Paths because we wanted to get a non-biased answer from them, not a, oh, they're on social media, let's help them immediately answer.
So phone call number two was Kevin from Paving New Paths. I approached the situation the same way and assumed that they didn't know who I was. This phone call was the first time I've called up there. I found out within the first 30 seconds that they already knew who I was because the answers, as soon as they answered, were very indicative of the phone call that I just got hung up on. So I approached it differently. I said, look, I am not an ambassador for you. I am just a guy that simply films YouTube videos. And this is a big deal. And there's a lot of people who are having this problem. So instead of saying, no, you're not going to help me, let me film the process and let me show that Grand Design does care about second owners and people that are out of a warranty.
Let's just say phone call number two got us nowhere as well.
I was also hung up on because I said the word frame flex too many times. Then we went to phone call number three. This one, I'm going to take full credit for being hung up on because I came in hot.
Very hot, and I think rightfully so. I mean, I always try to remain calm, neutral in all these situations, but when you think your RV is having major issues, you call for help and you immediately get shut down because you say a word frame flex. Then you call again trying to explain the situation a little more and try and help them toward a resolution for you, and you still get hung up on. Third time, all bets are out the window.
So the third conversation, obviously they know who I am by now, and he goes, you just got hung up on twice, why are you still calling? And I said, I would love for you to let me talk before you cut me off and shut me down. So he let me talk, and when I got done talking, he hung the phone up.
Awesome customer service. I bet y'all get through your customer service training quite quickly. Have an irritated customer? Hang up.
So I challenge you guys, if you don't believe me, call Grand Design's customer service and let's play a game. Let's see how long you can last on the phone once you said the word frame flex. We'll have a little thing in the comments, new high score. I've made it about 4.5 minutes using the word frame flex. Let's see if you can beat that number.
Good luck, everyone.
All right, so round 2 of customer service. The following day, I get a phone call from the customer service manager or whoever's over the people that hung up on me, and she wants to discuss my problems. So we're starting to feel like we're getting somewhere because obviously they've reviewed the conversations and they know they need to talk to me and try to help me out.
One would think.
This conversation went rather well for about 10 to 15 minutes until we got to the point of what are we gonna do to fix our problem.
And at that point, all things went south.
They wanted me to jump through all kinds of hoops, take my RV to a authorized dealer, get an inspection done that I would have no access to, and then Grand Design would review it and they would decide if they could help us out at all.
At this point, we do not feel comfortable driving this RV 1 mile in the condition that we think that it's in. So for them to tell us to take it to an authorized dealer is just out of the question.
Let's say I jump through all these hoops and I take it to these dealers and I have all these inspections done. The RV gets tore down, which is probably gonna be on my cost for them to look at it. I ask her, what kind of potential help are we looking at? And that's where the conversation went sideways. Because her answers were, I can't tell you how we're gonna help you, but I need you to jump through all these hoops and then maybe we might help you. I said, what does help look like? Is it financial help? Is it procedural help?
You have to understand that regardless if you're a full-time family or not, like there's a lot of hoops you're asking us to jump through. And we are a full-time family and this is our home and we have 3 young children and a dog. Like we have to know what those next steps are before we take the first step because we can't just wing this. Like this is our home. So for her to not be able to answer those questions or not give up that information just seems a little bizarre to me.
We went back and forth. She never would tell me what help from this company might look like, but she told me all the things I had to do before they would even consider helping me, which we're not even sure if help even exists. So this one actually ended because I hung up. 1 point, paving new paths.
Right, we took a page out of their customer service book and we decided to end the conversation this time because we could see we were getting nowhere fast.
So we were basically at a standstill with Grand Design because customer service was of no help. But we started talking with friends who have had Grand Design and major Grand Design issues, and we were given a contact number of a guy who handles big problems. And when you ask me, frame flex is a huge problem. So we sent him an email. And that is how we got to the frame flex video. He was actually a great guy to work with in the beginning.
Once we got his name, which it's honestly asinine that we even had to reach up the ladder to find this person's name. Should have been handled from customer service from the first phone call, but that's beside the point. Once we got his name, we just knew, okay, a solution's coming.
A solution looked to be on the way because the video we filmed, that was his procedure. We were filming the video for them to see. Actually, they saw the video before you did, and that's how they determined what their answers were for our RV. And this was their response.
It says, thank you, Kevin. Our shop is gone, but I will watch this with them in the morning. First impression is that it doesn't look like it's moving much. This is great news. Actually,
it's not great news because this is the follow-up email once they watched it.
Hi, Kevin. The shop said they estimate about 100 hours for just the labor, ... That comes to 16,500 plus parts. Let me know when you want to schedule an appointment or if you need a written estimate for your insurance company. I think we are booking for May right now.
How do we go from on a Friday, looks great, to on a Monday, by the way, the next 6 months of your life, you're on shutdown mode and you owe us a lot of money to make it right? We sent this email back to our contact in response to the quote we just got for $16,500.
Forgive me if my response comes off as a bit shocked, but I am quite alarmed that we've gone from an email on December 13th, 2023, where you say, first impression is that it doesn't look like it's moving much. This is great news. To now saying that this repair will be an estimated 100 hours for just labor and $16,500 plus parts and requires a 5-month wait at minimum, without any explanation as to what the shop found that made this such a drastic change in your response.
We led with several follow-up questions concerning the email, because apparently they're not going to offer any information. So we thought by asking questions, we could get some more information about what they intend to do and how they intend to repair it and what the process is.
Number 1, could you explain what the process for the repair would be and how long the repair could take at minimum/maximum?
And what was his answer?
Our estimate is based on a video and is worst case scenario. We won't know what is actually happening until we open up the unit and look at the welds. Repair time varies from 2 to 4 weeks. Each repair is different depending on model and other circumstances beyond our control. Maybe you should have led with that in your first email where you quoted $16,500 plus parts and 100 hours of labor. Maybe give some context to that number, because that's a huge number to chew.
It's a very big number. We went from not a big deal to a lot of money, and honestly, it's one of those things. It makes you wonder, is it worth spending the money on an RV when it's going to cost $16,500 plus parts? Not to mention, we spoke to several people who've gone through this. That's not the price. That's the price to get you in the door. But once they take it apart, most of the time it's $20,000 to $25,000 to get it back.
It's no big deal to them because they just assume it's going to be an insurance claim.
Question 2.
We as a family need to stay intact during this whole process, and we wanted to know, what does this look like for our family? Does this mean we're moving out of the RV for an extended period of time? Who's paying for that? Where are we staying? Are we at the Grand Design location, or are we having to find an RV park or a hotel? Like, what is the next step? Because we need to know that well in advance so that we can prepare as a family and prepare to let our children know.
And what was his reply?
Incidental and consequential damages are not covered by our warranty, but I might be able to do something to help.
That is actually the most positive thing we've had from Grand Design on this whole experience.
I would love to know what that something you might be able to do is. I mean, throw some ideas out here for me, because when I read that, I see a non-response.
Seems to be the common theme when you bring up the word frame flex. Non-response. All right, question number 3 was my question. I want to know, should we allow them to do this work? Say we drive to Elkhart and have them fix and repair this frame. What kind of warranty do we get on the work? We also brought up there's several YouTube videos going around of Grand Design making the repair and it broke again. And we said we hope that's just a simple miscommunication between Grand Design and the content creator, and that's not actually what's going on. And this was his response: if we pay for them to do the work. Your unit has no warranty, Kevin. You would have the normal shop warranty, but as I've stated before, we have had no comebacks under normal circumstances. Meaning, as soon as we drive off, after paying them $17,000 plus parts, if it breaks in the parking lot, we are on our own again for another claim.
Yay, Grand Design customer service. You're doing a great job. Kevin, please tell us question 4.
All right, so this one I might have to read because I was very wordy with it, and I think it makes sense if you read it word for word. From all of our research online regarding broken frames and frame flex, we noticed that most of the repairs require a significant amount of gussets and braces be added to the front of the frame. Are these additional gussets and welds being added to the new unsold units now? If so, it would seem a recall would be issued and all existing units should be repaired free of cost to the customer for the deficient frames that were sold with their units. And if additional gussets and welds aren't being added, why does it require so much extra material to strengthen a frame that is supposed to be rated for the weight we are carrying?
Want to know what this response was?
This has nothing to do with the question I asked. The answer is someone on the internet stating 7 out of 10 units had this issue. This is false by a long shot. So he just told me that this was an isolated event, but yet he is aware of all the YouTube videos talking about this event. We've actually never seen that video of that person saying that, but we know that Grand Design is aware of what is going on, and this is a deflection because he didn't answer my question about if it takes so much extra metal to fix mine, but you're not fixing the new ones, how does that prevent the new ones from also breaking? He also responded with, no recall has been issued, nor has one been requested. Are we supposed to request recalls? Like, do we just, hey, I'd like to request a recall?
Sorry, we aren't up to date on how recalls actually work. We thought those were voluntary things done by the company when they realized they had an insufficient product, but maybe we're wrong. All right, 3 more questions to go. What's next?
All right, so this is more of a question slash statement because it's following up with all the procedures that they won't tell us about. Due to the extreme nature of this problem and the amount of frame problems that are happening with Grand Design Momentums and Solid 2 models that were built on Lippert frames, why are there only 2 options you provided to us? 1, a service ticket at your shop that we can pay out of pocket for, or an insurance claim. When we reached out to you, Grand Design for help, we were expecting an explanation as to why this is happening to our unit in the first place and how you would help us, not a cut and dry email stating estimated repair costs and whether or not we wanted an estimate worked up for our insurance purposes. He came back with, Kevin, I disagree with you so much in this question, but the bottom line is that you purchased a used unit that was built and put into service nearly 5 years ago, and Grand Design has not been involved in the use, care, or maintenance of this vehicle. That is why it's not warranty. Honestly, the fact that y'all aren't involved is why it's lasted 5 years.
Exactly. And can we say cop out, non-answer? Like, you guys are great at this.
Question number 6 is actually a two-part. I asked for a welding procedure and what it would take for us to handle it ourselves because we're in the great state of Texas. I can make a phone call and there'll be 30 welders here and we know how to weld. We actually know how to weld a lot better than the people that welded on this frame. Still have not got a response on a welding procedure. The next one is, we asked if you want us to drive to Elkhart, Indiana, that's 900 miles. How are we supposed to get there? What assurances do we have that the RV will actually make it there? His response was, I can state unequivocally, that there has never been such a failure on a Grand Design RV, because we asked, what happens if it falls apart on our 900-mile trip to Elkhart? Will you help us out if we total our truck, our RV, or God forbid, we hit somebody else because this RV comes apart on the highway? And this is a big thing for Alicia.
There's a lot of things I will let slide. You want to be mean to me on the internet, you want to call Kevin names, that's fine, we're adults. When it comes to our children, it literally makes my blood boil. Your response is that you want us to drive 900 miles from Texas to Indiana and put our family at risk. Even if I'm not in the car, my children aren't in the truck, if Kevin's having to drive it, it's unacceptable. It's also unacceptable to the person in the next lane over, that God forbid we have a problem and we kill that person or we seriously injure that person. That sits on our brains, and it should be on your brains too, Grand Design. It's not okay. And that brings us to question number 7.
Welcome to another non-answer. So here it is. It's our follow-up question. If our frame problem was an isolated event, they actually say isolated event all the time, it's not happening at all. But if our frame problem was an isolated event, that $16,500 in parts with a 5-month wait time seems a bit absurd, especially considering the number of units having these issues all across social media in the past few months. This certainly hasn't been our only problem with this unit, as we've had numerous small and large issues since taking ownership. We'd hope that you'd be honest with us and others facing this potentially life-threatening issue and share that isn't an issue that you've been seeing a lot of. We also think at this point you'd have a very detailed steps in place to ensure that the unit owners get their issue fixed efficiently and at a low cost, considering unit owners are not at fault for these frame deficiencies. His answer was, I guess my question here is, how do you substantiate this statement? So basically he deflected the entire statement and will not acknowledge anything that we said.
Yeah, I think at this point, Grand Design, let's not take a reactive approach. Let's be proactive. Let's help those customers that are calling in, because there's obviously a lot of us, or you wouldn't be deflecting. And let's give them some answers. Let's tell them, hey, do a frame flex test. Here's the next step. Here's what you might be looking at. Do something that makes you not look so bad.
And here is my follow-up into the email thing I wrote, because it's some feelings I'm having, some things I want a clarification on, and probably some things that you guys have noticed as well, because it does involve YouTube and social media and the way this company uses social media. In our opinion, which we know has no impact on you or your brand, the right thing to do here would be to fix the problem at no cost to the owner, since Grand Design is the company that approved the Lippert frame in which their floor plan was designed for. Having ambassadors that share how great Grand Design is and their units are, then turning your back on customers that brought into your brand in this lifestyle is disheartening, to say the least. Do you not value your customers or stand behind your brand? Regardless of if a unit is purchased from Grand Design new or is still within warranty or not, should not be the determining factor for standing behind your brand and being proud of the units you produce. You cannot produce a full-time living RV, have the masses buy into the lifestyle, and use the units exactly as you advertise them for full-time, and then turn your back on them and send 3 cents emails that provide such little detail and no explanation, and just hope that we will call our insurance company and make the problem right. We look forward to hearing from you, and we are awaiting your response. Here's his response. In closing, you came to me for help. You said numerous times during our first conversations that you didn't expect us to do this for free. You just wanted help getting it fixed. It's true, I didn't expect for free, but I didn't expect $16,500.
Right, and to clarify, we said the right thing to do would be to fix it for free, because you obviously under-engineered this. So that would be the right thing to do. We certainly don't expect you to do that.
He followed up with, now, I understand that may not be your intention. I hope your intention is not to add to the misinformation and speculation that a small group of users is perpetuating on the internet. Again, back with the isolated event, and there's just a small group of us having this problem.
Yet he knows about every video out there. And I want to be very clear that we are not attacking Grand Design ambassadors at all. They are not at fault for this. We bought into the lifestyle because they did a great job of selling what full-time RV living could be. And we are so thankful for the experiences we had when we were doing this life before the frame broke. So this is not a Grand Design ambassador problem. This is a Grand Design as a company problem.
And then he finishes up with defending his quotes and why he gave us the quotes he did.
After he sent us his responses, we could see that all this is going to do is take us in circles. We're going to get no answers. We're going to get no help. Okay, we're moving on. We did, however, after publishing our first FrameFlex video, send that video to this contact and say, is there any response we can include in a follow-up email from Grand Design? Because we think it's important. Like, you don't just need to see the customer side, you need to see their side as well. And so we just asked the question, is there anything you'd like to include? We'll need your response within the next week or so that we can get it into this video in time. And crickets. We got no response.
Common theme with Grand Design. Say the word FrameFlex. We know this is a very negative subject, and I'm tired of being negative, so I am going to turn this around. I've been saving this since Christmas. This is a Bob Ross positive energy drink. We're about to get positive about a very negative situation. Ooh, what a happy little accident.
Let me taste. Tastes like positivity.
Let's address the word FrameFlex. That is a made-up word to make this situation a lot better than it actually is. Do you know what the definition of flex is? The definition of flex is for something to move and return to its position. Guess what? Broken welds do not flex. They are just broken. It should be called frame broken, not frame flex.
Yes, frame broken, frame failure, because when this thing bent, it did not return back to its original position, as Flex calls it to do. So let's stop using that word to soften the blow when you actually have frame failure.
We also expected this from Grand Design, because if you don't know, when we first got our RV, the roof came off. And we've already had to replace the roof on a RV that was 9 months. Well, we owned it for 9 months. It was probably a little over a year, but guess what? We were out of warranty. So we had to eat the cost of a brand new roof on essentially a 1-year-old RV. But guess what Grand Design does? As soon as you're out of warranty, they have that insurance claim and the exact amount of hours and money it will take to fix it.
When your business strategy is insurance claims, it has to make you wonder how much you're profiting off said insurance claims. And maybe that's why you're choosing to have such a subpar product, because you're actually making your money from that end.
Can't make money on the front end, so we'll make it on the back end when we have to fix it for you constantly. We also learned there's a lot of Grand Design cheerleaders on social media, and they all showed up in the comments of our last video. Several of them stating, Grand Design is the best company. We love them. They've always come through for us. Everything that we've claimed on warranty has been outstanding. And then they go on to list the things that they replaced under warranty. AC units, baggage doors, axles, microwaves, refrigerators. Guess what? None of that stuff is Grand Design. Those are all products that they buy from someone else, and you get that warranty without Grand Design, but Grand Design is taking the credit for replacing that product under warranty when you don't need them for that warranty.
Exactly. You could contact the manufacturers of any of those products. They know the product number on it. They would send you a free unit with or without Grand Design being attached to it.
That's right. We actually had several things from Lippert and our washer and dryer, which was replaced under warranty. So stop giving Grand Design credit for taking care of you for warranty claims when they had nothing to do with it.
And I will say, for a long time, we were also Grand Design cheerleaders. Like, this thing worked amazingly for us, despite all the small inconveniences, even the large one, the roof. We still were yay Grand Design. But at some point, when you've thrown so much money, time, attention, all these things at the unit, and it's still underperforming for you, you lose your hoorah for the company.
Another big topic that came up in the comments is this right here, this Gen Y. There's a lot of people out there, also fanboys, I'm allowed to say fanboys? Cheerleaders for Grand Design that don't approve of this because Lippert told them it's not approved. You know what? When I buy something, I don't have to ask permission on what I want to do to it. And I keep getting told that this is the reason the frame is breaking. because it's not an approved pin box. Well, tell me how the approved pin boxes from Lippert and Moride, who are also cracking frames, are any better. Also, we put this on 2 years ago. If it was the cause of the problem, it would have happened 2 years ago, not in the last 500 miles of traveling.
Exactly. If you want to claim these are isolated events, then sure, if we were the first and only person who had frame flex, then sure, blame your unapproved pin box. We'll take the blame for it. But we are one of many of which have your approved pin box.
Everyone kept saying, you're full-time, you're overweight. Well, you actually don't have to argue with us about that, because this RV has been weighed 7 times on our channel, and every time it's been weighed, we've shown you how to make sure your rig is underweight. This RV has never been overweight in any of the videos we've shot. Also, the truck has never been overweight. So before you go casting judgment, the answers are on our social media pages.
Right. I think it's a common misconception for a lot of people that full-timers are overweight, when I think the true reality is that we are probably the most reasonably weighted, because we are so aware of what we're bringing in and out of our RV. We know that these things are only capable of so much. We know we can't bring our entire sticks and bricks house with us, so we're very cognizant of what we bring into the RV. So I think the misconception that full-time RVers are overweight should probably stop.
The cheaters showed back up when they said you're using it for full-time use. They are not designed to be used for full-time. That's where you're wrong. Grand Design had this whole thing with all kinds of ambassadors selling the full-time lifestyle, and we all brought into it. And we used it exactly as they were using it to sell units. And now that we're having a problem, we're being told those aren't made for full-time use.
Right. If you go on to their website, or other manufacturers for that matter, you'll see the term full-time rated. So that means you can actually live in this unit full-time. They've rated it for that.
I will say they probably meant full-time use, not moving, because almost all of our problems come from moving it down the highway. So maybe they need to go back and reevaluate the way they're advertising it. Full-time stationary use, not full-time traveling use. So when you buy it, the first thing you do is take the tires off and send it back to them. Also, when this video came out about our frame flex, one of our viewers said, you're blowing up a Facebook group. It's called the Grand Design RV for Life group. We actually weren't a member of there. We actually had to request permission to join to see what was going on. But someone had shared our video of our frame flex in that page, and the comments were going crazy. But by the time we got there, the comments had been turned off, and one of the admins, who is a Grand Design affiliate or employee who also has a social media presence, made this final comment.
And just to clarify, the name of the group is GDRV, the number 4 Life. GDRV for Life. So here's her response to closing down the comments. Please always remember that people who record their lives on social channels will always be in the spotlight for something. I have nothing against any of them. Many are my friends. However, we do have to remember that there are always 2 sides to every story. If anyone has concerns about their GDRV units, you are advised to follow protocols. Reach out to your dealer. Reach out to support. They will advise you of the steps you need to take in order to come to the best resolution. People want to know what is going to be done. Taking each circumstance and vetting it out, gathering information, inspections, weights, measurements, then making the best decision for each individual scenario is a start. And that is just what we do. But we can't do that if people would rather make videos, slam product, or complain on social media instead of following protocol. Please always remember that.
First observation, the video was us filming our protocol that we were given by Grand Design on what to do next. She shut it down because she took it as negative. She also showed her cards because she was talking about things that y'all didn't know about, but we knew about in the future.
So the fact that she went into defense mode shut the whole comments section down.
By the way, there was 112 comments from not us, and they were not positive. There were so many owners who are unhappy with the way the frames are being handled, and they came in and shut it down. And the video was actually about the steps to go if you're going to have this problem with Grand Design and how they'll help you fix it.
Right. I don't think we were slamming product or putting negativity into the world. We were simply sharing our experience, and we even said in the video, we don't have all the answers. We don't know what's next, but we're going to take you along as we uncover it because we thought it might be helpful information. It wasn't to slam your company. We had hoped that when we gave you the FrameFlex video that a a great resolution would have come from it. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I didn't realize this in Facebook groups, but I think it's very important to be aware of who is adminning these groups, because when you have a GDRV for Life group, you might think, oh, this is just Grand Design owners all sharing stories, common themes. But when the admins of those groups either work for Grand Design or affiliated with Grand Design, things like that, it tends to make you think that they might have biased information on there. Because if you can't have a post that has negative comments in it and everyone sharing their experience without it getting shut down, are you really getting the truth?
Also, since they shut comments down, they have had made several posts talking about how great their brand is, and are using other YouTube videos that discuss Lippert frames in a bad light because they want to take the attention away from what's going on with their company and the units they're selling. It's not a Lippert momentum, it is a Grand Design momentum. So stop shifting the blame and let us discuss, because we could all together make this a better product if you just let it.
At some point, you have to take ownership for the name that's on the RV, not who built the frame that you designed.
It's funny, I'm starting to wonder, did Grand Design actually design anything? So since our video came out about the frame flex, we have an inbox that we cannot keep up with of people telling us the same story and what they had to go through. And almost none of them turned out for the best.
It's really unfortunate because it's not just a Grand Design manufacturing issue, it's kind of all across the board, which is a little scary because there's probably so many people in unsuspecting units that have frame issues and aren't even aware.
Even those big, fancy, expensive ones. We've gotten emails from people that own DRVs and Luxes, and they had the same problems and they had the same results as well. You're basically on your own. You can do an insurance claim, or you can just pay out of pocket.
And I think that kind of brings us to where we are now, where Grand Design isn't getting any more of our attention. We're not here to bash them, we're just here to share the experience. But for us to put our trust in them to fix this product and make it acceptable for travel use again, I have zero confidence that they can do that.
I mean, if they couldn't even build the frame right the first time, they had to subcontract it out, what makes them qualified to be the ones to repair it?
And why aren't customers being shown the repairs that they do? Why can't we go into the shop and watch you do the repairs and see what you're adding and what the damage was and things like that? Yes, pictures are great, but in all honesty, I want to see the whole thing taken apart. And who's the welder that's welding on it? Are they actually certified, or are they just a contracted out employee?
And if they are a certified contracted out employee, then why do we need to bring it to you? Because he's not employed by you. He's a welder. We can get welders here. So again, you're the middleman making money off people's problems that you sold them. Which brings us to our next point. We make social media videos about traveling full-time as a family. We just happen to do it in a Grand Design. And we have so many people who have reached out to us and said, because of your videos, we made the jump. We sold it all, we retired, we bought this RV, and I want to talk to you guys about this because I feel a little responsible, because we love this RV and everything it's done for our family, but right now we don't love it so much because it's broken. And we don't want you guys to think because we have social media we're being taken care of. Actually, I think having social media has made this hard to get taken care of because they know that we will show everything that's happening. But we want to apologize to anyone out there who bought an RV because they saw our videos. We didn't know, and now we're all in the same boat together. They sold us a dream of full-time living, and it's turned into a full-time nightmare.
As Kevin said, so many of you have reached out to us and told us that our story inspired you so much that you're out there living your dream, or you're 2 years away, or you're 3 months away, or you're saving up so you can get a Grand Design. Like, those stories touch our heart, and they're why we continue to make videos. But we do not want you to ever think that we are being silenced by a company, or that we're in bed with them, or any of that, because at the end of the day, we're just people like you. We just happen to be filming our experiences.
We are normal, everyday people who sold everything, bought into this lifestyle, and we loved every minute of it. Just like you're on your own when you're out there RVing, if you do have problems, especially major problems, you're gonna be on your own when they happen. That being said, we are not giving Grand Design any more of our money, time, or effort. Instead of taking our RV to be fixed by them, I'm reaching out to anyone watching this video. If you are an RV shop or an RV technician and you want to work together and do a collaboration, and we can show the world how to fix this unit without being held hostage by the manufacturer, reach out to us. Send us a message, send us an email. We want to work with you and show people that there's other solutions to your problems.
Even if you're just a trailer shop who has fantastic welding skills, like if you think you can tackle this project, because we are still at the point where we don't know how big this project is going to be, please reach out to us, because we think it's important to share the entire experience so that other viewers can get a feel for what their experience might look like should they have frame flex.
Thought we were calling it a broken frame.
Frame failures. I like frame failures.
Also, Grand Design keeps saying this is an isolated event. Well, 30 seconds on YouTube and the internet and the owner forums, turns out it's not a very isolated event. So I have an idea. If you have had this problem but don't have social media and you want to share your problem, reach out to me. I will come to you. We will make a video about anybody who wants to make a video about their RV and their troubles. I guess we'll call it Frame Flex February. What do y'all think about that?
Sounds like you're gonna have a busy February. That's what I think. Also, if you're not in our area, we can do phone calls, we can do video chat. So we want to hear from you. We want to hear what your experiences are. Many of you shared your experiences down in the comments of our first video, but let's get your story out there too.
Let's show Grand Design and the world that this is not an isolated event, and it's actually much bigger than they're making it out to be.
It's so isolated that there's another Solitude over here in the same RV park as us who's also having frame failure.
Yeah, I find it funny. Such an isolated event, but there's two of us here and we didn't know each other, but now we have so many things to talk about. We got a lot in common. Thanks for all the emails and the comments and all the prayers and support from all you guys out there. These t-shirts, Make Frames Great Again and Make RVs Great Again, will be available on our website for purchase when this video goes live. Unfortunately, Alicia's will not be, because that's a copyright image, so we can't sell that to you, but we might be giving some away. Actually, Alicia has a great idea about these t-shirts, because we need to sell $17,500 of them to pay for this RV.
I think we need to sell about 20,000, but what's pennies at this point? So here's our idea. You buy a shirt from us and you go wear it at your favorite RV show or rally or any of that. Tag us in your picture so we can see you at that event, and we will put you into the drawings for all of our giveaways for this year.
You know what? I'll do it one better. If you buy one of these Make RVs or Make Frames Great Again shirts, you will be automatically entered into every single contest we have for the entire year.
Also, as we said, we want to hear from you and we want to hear your experience with frame failure, frame flex, whatever you want to call it. If you reach out to us and we end up sharing your story on our channel, we'll let you have your choice of the Make RVs Great Again, my shirt, or Kevin's shirt at no cost to you. So as a thank you, we will send you one free of charge.
Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one.